welcome as the queen and what do I call myself now? I don't want to call myself the king, but the queen and her side piece of Kuvukila.
Emperor.
Welcome you to Wake Up Nigeria. Well, it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful Thursday.
As much as I'd like to go on, I definitely have to say, Mike, you're looking exceptionally outstanding today. And I'm impressed, pretty much so.
Of course.
So good, I'm blushing.
Of course you should be, because this is no limits.
Plug it.
No limits stitches, giving you unlimited fun from me this morning.
Yes, of course.
But of course, you also look dashing, lovely.
Thank you, my darling.
In
Thank
fact,
you, my darling. Thank
you know what happens? This cannot go without a
Lord.
selfie. This just came up now. You know, I mean, it's the era of documenting on social media.
Of course.
Well, this shot will go online as a Wake Up Nigeria shot.
All right, anyways, let's get right back into it. Get ready to shake off those morning blues and dive into a world full of energy and endless possibilities.
That's what we do. We've got a jam-packed show lined up for you today, folks. From heartwarming stories to expert tips. We've got everything on our Artsy Thursday. And also, we've got the militant in the kitchen. Why do I call her militant? I said something to MM and Winfrey at the same time. Winfrey was disgusted about it, but MM had she was thinking of how to eat ocean cockroaches.
Wow.
MM, is that not the truth?
You know me, Mike, when it comes to food, I have an adventurous palate. And, well, anything good, as long as it's well prepared, I will eat it.
And that one was well prepared. Winfrey, would you take a desert cockroach? Not desert now, ocean cockroach.
Do you have you ever smelled? Have you
Cockroach,
actually
Mike.
smelled what cockroaches, normal cockroaches smell like?
No, this one is sweeter than lobster.
It's
Do you
actually
take
called
lobster?
a sea cockroach.
I do take lobster.
This is
Mike,
sweeter
it
than
is
lobster.
called
I
a
don't care.
sea cockroach, not ocean cockroach.
If it's
sea
a cockroach, they have something in it. They have something similar, and
Well-
I'm not interested in finding out.
Well, we'll talk about that some other time, but it's going to be a wonderful experience for you this morning.
Yes.
My name is Mike Messicano.
My name is Winfrey Agbeleshe. Now, remember, we're definitely all over social media, so make sure you do follow us on all social media platforms. Give us the handles, Mike.
It's at TVC Entertainment _
Yes, of
on Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok. You can
Yes.
hear us there.
Of course, channel 16 and of course channel 49 respectively. And of course, we have so much packed on for today.
All right, let's get straight into it.
Yeah.
For this morning, we'll kick off with Adebayo Olagoke Temitope, a multi-talented artist with a HND from Lagos State Polytechnic. Well, he loves creating mixed media sculptures, transferring model stylized figures into metals and resins mixed with other materials. Well, we'll be talking to him on our art display this morning.
And for book chat, we have Namdi Chiku, an entrepreneur and founder of Namdex Group Africa. Now, Chiku is a frequent contributor to discussion panels and publications on African politics, economics, global geopolitics, and commerce. Now, he's here to talk about his best-selling book, Africa on the Precipice, the blueprints to steer the continent and diaspora to redemption. Love it.
Love a title, eh?
Love it.
Ooh, the Rasta man. Black Rasta. Rude boy na the area man. Come out Namios. Well, we've got Black Rasta born in Tamale, northern Ghana, West Africa. And as a growing youth in the slums of Mushi, Zongo, and Abo, Black Rasta, who's born Abubakar Ahmed, underwent a lot of injustice, favoritism, and other social ills. Well, we're going to be talking to him about his journey and how he grew up from such a childhood to be who he is today.
Being the Rasta.
So, I have something to say. For the past 2 days, it's like they moved me to Bambi. I
You've been
swear to
enjoying life,
God.
Mike.
I swear to God, like my journey is bad, and the generator guy no come, and I've been okay. 2 nights now, I've slept with lights.
So when you were complaining the last
Two
time, I
nights.
actually was going to say that actually life has actually improved in my end, but I didn't want to be.
He didn't want to be a... No, I'm just saying it.
We've not had lights.
But it's just for 2 days, so I don't know. So this
We've
is like...
not been having lights.
You know, it's like when the book of remembrance is open on your behalf. So they open our own.
No, I think they
2 days
closed
now.
that book when it comes to us, because even right now, my estate, we decided to just contribute monies
Okay.
to move to the band
To
A.
the next band.
No, to the band A.
Okay.
That's no problem. We'll show you one band A.
Okay.
We would contribute monies, but it seems they decided, okay, since people want to move to band A, pending
That
that
time.
time,
They
let's
shut it down.
Let's give you
let's
wilderness
close the book.
experience.
Yes.
So, so the truth is, I don't think that the lights we've been experiencing so far, I think they're still trying to figure it out, to be very honest. And I think that's why it's really fluctuating.
They are trying. You
They
are
trying to
on
figure it
point,
out. Because
1,000%.
this morning I was literally reading an article about the whole light thing, and it's honestly still a whole mumbo jumbo.
It
So
is.
even the money they're being paid, people
It
are
is.
asking questions. Okay, fine, what's that money being used for?
It is.
So it's just they're still trying to figure
No,
it
no,
out.
but I know that there are quite a few areas, for example, Magodo, and a few other areas that have, even the estates before mine, they actually
So that's the
subscribe to
thing.
the band A.
To band A. No,
yeah,
of
and
course
they're
there'll
actually
be-
getting
there'll be areas that
24
have
hours,
that.
or at least
But you see,
24 hours.
I think
of
it was
electricity.
AEDC that were fined for overcharging customers,
Yeah.
and that happens when somebody is maybe in a lower band and they charge us for a
Trying
higher
to,
band.
exactly.
Because during that, remember I told that there was a friend of mine who had to pay over 3 times or 4 times more, and by this time the announcements had not yet been made. So yes, they are still trying to figure it out. And like I would say, if we had, if we had a database that was well curated
Curated,
and
yes.
collated
Like
and
a
organized,
SIA.
it would be easier to roll out this. But let's see how it goes. And may my band be assist. Okay, between C
Don't
and
keep
B.
it to yourself. Don't pray for another. Just hold it. Hold
May
it.
it never
hold
be
it.
jinxed.
Thank you.
Not this announcement now. They say, please, where does he live? And then they do their investigation.
I live in VR.
Let's see what the weather is like.
Good morning. The news on Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Mike Messikeno. We start off in Rivers State, as it appears that there is no end in sight for the political crisis in the state, as 2 commissioners who previously resigned from Governor Siminalayi Fubara's cabinet have tendered their resignations again. The Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General, Professor Zacchaeus Adango, and Commissioner for Finance, Isaac Kamalu, both resigned after the governor moved them to another ministry. Professor Adango, in his letter, says he rejects his redeployment to the Ministry of Special Duties as he was no longer willing to continue to serve in Fubara's administration in any capacity whatsoever. He alleged that the governor had in recent times interfered with his job. Isaac Kamalu, on his part, says his resignation is in response to his redeployment to the Ministry of Employment, Generation and Economic Empowerment from the Ministry of Finance. And although President Tinubu's intervention led to his reappointment as commissioner, the peace envisaged in the state has not returned. Now, in the aviation sector, after Dana aircraft skidded off the runway in Lagos on Tuesday, which forced aviation authorities to divert flights from local to international airport, Minister of Aviation Festus Keyamo has ordered the NTAA to suspend Dana airline operations in the country till further notice. Mr. Keyamo explained that the recent incident underscored the urgency of the matter and the need for swift and decisive action to be taken to safeguard the interests of all stakeholders involved. TVC News on Tuesday reported that one of the airline's aircraft with registration number 5NBKI skidded off a runway, though all 83 passengers and 6 crew members disembarked safely. Now, the European Union has joined calls by the United Nations for an independent investigation of the mass graves recently discovered at hospitals in Gaza and Khan Yunis. More than 180 bodies were said to be recovered from the Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza and the Al-Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis. UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric, while commenting on the development, called for a team of international experts to conduct an inquiry into the situation. EU spokesperson Peter Stano also demanded an independent investigation, suggesting that the suspicions and all the circumstances could point to violations of international human rights. The Israeli military, however, insisted the bodies were exhumed and examined during the search for deceased Israeli hostages taken on 7th of October and were then reburied. All right, okay, it's what's up and about, and we have quite an interesting discussion this morning. Now, just yesterday, I think the registrar of JAM, that is talking about Professor Ishaq Oloyede, who made a statement to the press. And let me just read some excerpts from this particular statement that he made. Now, he said, across the country, most of the problems we have is impersonation. For instance, now we say we have NIN. We now have cases of people with 2 NINs.
Yes.
And therefore, that has defeated the purpose of identity verification. We're going to take that up with NIMC, that there are people who have 2 NINs. We have a case of a father impersonating his son, writing an examination for the son, and I wonder, are you not destroying your son's future? Of course, 2 of them are now in custody. I can't understand what the father will now tell his son when they are both locked up in the same cell. This happened definitely not in Kaduna, but I don't want to disclose the state. So, it is largely cases of impersonation, but we are ahead of them. We are just picking them up like chicken now, because the facilities are there for us to see what they are doing and to pick them up. So according to Professor Ishaq Oloyede, they have 2 chickens in custody. Father chicken and son chicken.
Is it the chicken that Zainab said I can hide under my dress?
This is your dress. You can even hide Jeep inside. The way it's going, you can remove Range Rover from it.
Oh my
You remind me of Harlem Globetrotters. I don't know if you remember that cartoon. But yeah.
That's funny.
But this is, a lot of things went through my mind when I thought about that. What would you tell your son in that case? As I quoted the professor, the registrar, who said that when they are locked up in the same cell. I mean, what kind of discussions will you have with him?
So I think for me, right, this brings to memory a video I watched of Michelle Obama, where she was actually speaking about how she's not friends with her kids. And how she spoke about the fact that, see, I'm here to be parents to you. You have a whole generation of people, and beyond people beyond your generation to be your friends. But for her to literally get in her zen and do what she needs to do as a parent, she's going to focus on parenting as opposed to literally being friends. So I think situations like this are literally what... So the man was probably trying to help his son out. Do you understand? Make him understand, I see, I went through this also. These are the things that happen and everything. But anyways, before I even go into that topic, I'll actually like to mention about the whole NIN situation. So literally, I've had a one-on-one with that, right? I remember, I think last Wednesday, I was talking about the whole police situation and talking about how they need to be, how the officials are not... They don't, most of them don't know their roles and functions. Do you understand? And I think that's why things like that are happening. Why? Because most of these officials are there and their focus is to make money off the system.
When you say officials, where are these officials? At the NIMC office or the roadside ones?
Generally, right? When you talk about uniformed or parastatals here, and we have officials working under government parastatals, especially in Nigeria. What am I even saying especially, right? We have these people focused on trying to make money as opposed to doing the right thing. So I had situations with in fact, I had different stories of different people talking about how, they're trying to do their NIN. Maybe they've done the NIN. When I actually did my NIN, they refused to give me my card. They said, you don't need it, just take the number. The number is enough. Do you understand? And then along the line, I realized that I actually needed the card. I'm going back, and the guy's like, we can't start retrieving something. We have to start all over again. How am I starting all over again if you literally, it's a system now. It's not a computer. Are you not going to be able to pull it out? So like several issues like that. So they are focused on, okay, fine, bring it. That one is stressful, and the process to start doing all of that is different. Just pay another money and we'll run it. Same thing with driver's license. I'm trying to do my driver's license. I have a driver's license. It has expired. I'm just trying to change my name and do another one. One official is telling me, you have to pay for capturing, you have to pay for this. The other one is telling me, don't worry, just bring the money, we'll run it. The same people, they work in the same Lagos.
Our producer Olamide for like 10 years now, he has been trying to renew his license.
Do you understand? So it's just, in the end of the day, I'll say it's still they're not aware. They don't know. They're not... I don't know.
I would like to believe that first, let's address the NIN issue because...
No, let's not, please.
No, I know. There's something that I need to say quickly because this happened to me. I had an NIN, an old NIN, which I registered at a local stall. You know, there are stalls by bus stops, roadside stalls, where you could just walk in and register your NIN. But I've also come to realize, also having conversations with, I know that I currently have been in touch several times with the Lagos State Coordinator for NIMC. And it is always advisable to go to the NIMC office to get your authentic NIN registration number, not from those stalls. Because even after getting your NIN number from those stalls, you get to the NIMC office, they would say that no, they don't, you're not registered.
I promise you.
You need to register with them. That is whatever NIN whatever registration you have at the NIMC office is what gives you that authentication that this is your NIN number.
My registration, it was at the office, they told me you don't need the card. They gave me the number. I'm not saying the number works.
So, yeah,
but why I paid for the card? Why are you not giving the card?
Now they give you a slip. There's a barcode on that slip.
To get that slip.
Whether it is an e-slip or not, there's a barcode on it with the registration number. Now let's come back to the JAM issue right quickly. This, of course, borders on this 21st century style of parenting. It's questionable in a lot of ways. But then again, I guess in this case, this was the parent or the father's style or this was his own way of making a sacrificing for his child. Because we see parents, they said, I made a lot of sacrifices for you. I did this for you. Let's not also forget that a lot of parents indulge their children by paying for special centers for them. Especially with JAM, WAEC, all of these exams, there are also special centers for them that parents actually really pay for their kids to be part of. Also, we do not know how many times this child must have written JAM, that JAM has jammed the life out of him, and then the father says, okay, does it make it right? No, it doesn't. And I'm glad that the JAM, JAM as an organization has come forward or have put the right rudiments or the right things in place to ensure that, all of these impersonations and, corruptions and stuff is curbed.
To parents and guardians out there, where I'm coming from now is a case of what kind of person are you raising? You'll be raising an incompetent child, somebody who is inept at whatever they will do, somebody who will be psychologically imbalanced. I mean, look at the case where you are telling the child that you are not enough. You're telling the child that, look, you cannot traverse life on your own. There are a lot of things, and I love the picture that the JAM registrar painted, sitting in a cell with somebody that you birthed. Like, well, I mean, what kind of discussion would you have? We now have a stain on our record. If it's somewhere you are going to be convicted, you're taken to court, you're probably going to be convicted, they have all the evidence. And then what will you be telling him? I'm looking at the psychology, and this would apply to every other thing when you do things that your children are supposed to learn to do themselves. It starts from maybe little things, you understand? And oh no, they can't. And then you now want to make them children, and you don't know at the point where there's a point where you have to. There's a way the jungle does it. You know how eagles teach their young to fly? You pick the young from a nest.
Throw them.
So that's the thing. So now
it can be,
So thinking of a father that actually decides to sit for an exam for his son, we're seeing what's happening. Now think of what's happening in the father's mind. So I like to think of things like that. Like, okay, fine. Where is this man mentally? Why is he thinking this as a solution? So I was actually going to put a story forward that also I was actually very close. It happened in my set in law school. We do things at different levels, but then again, I don't understand why you decide to write an exam for somebody in law school.
Wow.
It was a really sad situation because I actually happened to go to school with this person, Uniben. From there, we went to law school together as well. And then he wrote his exam, he passed. He was a very brilliant student. And then in the year after, he decides to write exam for someone.
And what happened to him?
Of course, they caught him.
And where is he
Destroyed his career. He had to relocate. He had to leave the country.
You can't get it.
So come on.
You can't get the certificate. So it's really sad.
Let's know what you think here. Let's know what you think. Was it helping his son? Would you help your son or your daughter in that kind of way? Let's know in the comments. We'll be with you in a bit after this time out.
Thanks for staying with us. Welcome to the kitchen. With me right here is Chef Rachel.
morning.
Good morning. The red chili pepper. I feel like that's your signature, you know.
Yeah, because it's
like
always
pepper?
good to be on
Yeah.
on fire.
On fire. She likes it hot, hot, hot. Anyways, this morning she'll be making beans porridge. I know. So I was like, really? Beans? Yes, that's what we're having for breakfast this morning. And well, you better get your pen and papers to scribble them down. Is that a special way you're going to be making this? I know that's, well, our conventional way of cooking beans is not with, I see goat's meat here. Is this goat's meat?
No, this is not good meat. This is cow meat.
Cow meat. Oh, it looks like goat's meat.
Yeah, it
and
has
gizzard
Yes, so
and fish.
yeah.
Someone right now is kicking. Okay, so please reel out the ingredients for our recipe this morning.
Okay, so our ingredient is, of course, beans. We have our palm oil, pepper, crayfish, salt, seasoning powder, onions, and then the star, the protein.
I can see that. I can see that. This is quite an interesting kind of beans. When was the last time we made beans with so much protein, right? I know that our regular go-tos are usually panla
Yeah,
or smoked Titus fish.
Yeah.
Or nothing at all. Just
all,
have your
exactly.
beans like that. And then you have it with, you accompany the beans with rye, gari or pap. Or maybe sometimes custard. Oats with
Well,
beans?
some people do.
Really?
Yeah, or
Well,
plantain.
Ah, with plantain, yes. But then again, how do you like your plantains with your beans? Do you like it fried or you like it cooked? You like it cooked with your beans? I
Or
remember
roasted.
growing up, roasted plantain.
Yeah, so that's a new level.
Now that is a new level for sure. I remember growing up, we used to have boiled plantains with beans. And I always used to separate the boiled plantains from the beans.
You didn't like plantain?
No, not like I didn't like plantains. I just I didn't like the sogginess because when it overcooks, you know, when plantain overcooks, because you have to pour it into the beans. You have to put the plantains in the beans while it cooks. I know beans take long to cook. It takes a while. So the plantains becomes too overcooked and soggy, and then it just looks so...
It looks dead.
Yeah, like lifeless, literally. Yeah, but hey, please, talk to us about the process for our recipe this morning.
Okay, so we're going to have our beans in the pot. Let
Okay.
it steam up a bit because it's already pre-cooked.
Okay.
Then, of course, while that is heating up, we'll now have to fry our pepper and then get a pepper mix before we turn it into our beans and give it that amazing porridge look.
That's exactly how I also enjoy my beans. So I always like stir fry the onions, pepper, crayfish, and then any protein that I'm going to use.
Oh my
I'll just
God.
fry it together and then ensure that sometimes I like the oil, the palm oil to cook well before I pour them in and then pour them into the beans and then mix all of them up. And then
they'll marry themselves
and then
together.
they'll marry each other. And such a match made in heaven. Oh, okay. What kind of beans is this, though?
Okay, so this is honey beans.
Honey beans.
For the honey lovers.
For the honey lovers.
Yeah.
It gives that extra sweetness.
Oh, yes.
To the food. Oh, nice. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm stoked, like partly stoked because
I can imagine.
well, it's beans. But hey, I mean, I'm pretty excited and, well, can't wait for us to begin cooking.
Yeah.
But while we're prepping things up right here in the kitchen, let's head over to the couch for our art display with Mike.
All right. Well, I always love having Chef Rachel in the kitchen. She's always on point, man. I'm looking forward to what you guys have done when you finished there. But now it's time for our art display, and we have Adebayo Olagoke. Temitokwe, he's a multi-talented artist with a HND from Lagos State Polytechnic. He loves creating mixed media sculptures. Now we'll talk about that because not just metal. He says he starts from clay. It is great to have you, Olagoke. You're welcome.
Good morning.
Yes. So, Wonderful. Now, mixed media sculpture. What do you mean what does one mean when you say mixed media sculpture?
Okay, when you say mixed media, it means it's not just a kind of material that you use. You mix different type of materials. It might be 2, it might be 3, it might be 4 different kind of material.
But is it possible to sculpt without mixing materials? Can you do single media sculpting?
Very much.
Okay.
Very, very much. And that is what most people do. That's what most people do. But for art to be more interesting and to show your skill and creativity, you have to think outside the box.
The box,
Though,
okay.
For now, people are now going into mixed media sculpture, not even sculpture alone, mixed media painting, mixed media whatever. It has been for long, but a lot of people just know, okay, I want to draw, and that's just it. And some people would say, okay, I want to make use of clay. And at the end of the day, they do the clay, they end up casting with resin, a material called resin.
Okay.
So it's just one material thing. It's not 2 material thing.
Okay.
Like if you check this work,
Okay,
there are
this
2
one here.
materials. I have the metal, I have the resin there.
Okay, are we talking about this one here?
Yes,
The taller one.
this
Okay,
mask.
all right.
This
beautiful.
side here is a resin.
Okay.
You have the metal there, which is the nuts.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
So
How long did it take to get this masterpiece?
when I did this, I did it out of, I was just doing it on my own at leisure.
At leisure, okay,
At
so there was
leisure.
no
So there was
fixed
no
time. So but if
fixed
I had a timeline, I said I want to create something like this, how long would it take for you to recreate this, to give this to me?
Of course, I can give you this in less than a week.
All right, wonderful. Now, this is really quite talent at work here. Let's talk about your beginnings. How did you develop such a talent to get to this stage to create such masterpieces?
Okay, let me start from when I was small. I was in my primary school and I was drawing. At the time, my sponsor, my father, my brother, and is my father, is the one who fathered me up to this stage. So he stopped me from drawing. Why? Because I was drawing people who were taking cigarettes. Then
Then,
they was
okay.
like, no, I don't want this kind of this kind of thing for you. So he stopped me. But at the end of the day, at the long run, rather, I continued. And when I was in primary 6, people were like, okay, if you want to draw, go and give it to Temitope, go and give it to this one. Even teachers who knew me but did not know that I could draw. And I continued. When I got to secondary school, I was kind of, because I didn't have the knowledge, I could study art in school.
In school?
So I became a bit unserious with art. So I was just doing other things, and like the unserious me was, I was just an unserious kind of person. Not that I did not, I was not talented, not that I was not brilliant, but I didn't take matters
Seriously. Yeah.
So when I got to SS1, my teacher, Mr. Joseph, then, I can remember his name, Mr. Joseph, he was the one who encouraged me to go ahead, along with Mrs. Ghana and Mrs. Thomas, Mrs. Ghana, yes, then Mrs. Thomas. There were 3 of them. So at the time, Mrs. Ghana said there was an opportunity to go for, what's it called, what's it called? Admission.
Okay, into university.
COE,
Okay.
a college of education.
College of education, pardon
at
me.
Mina, because I schooled at Mina.
Okay, in the north. Oh,
the north.
interesting.
So she when she came, she was like, okay, Tokpe, you are in SS1. Let's say you're in SS2. Probably would have helped you to go there directly, because they were looking for students.
For students, okay.
For art students.
Art students, all
Art
right.
students. But I was in SS1, so there was no way she could
Yeah, get you there.
get me there. So I continued, and when I got to when I finished, I wanted to study something else. I wanted to study psychology, but because I did not do science in school, so I resorted to, okay, I'll do sociology.
Okay.
And I began to look for admission, and I didn't get admission. I went to see, what's it called, OAU. I went to EXU. Then it was EXU.
Okay.
So I went to other schools, so I couldn't get the admission. But at the time, my brother, who I said is my father,
Yeah.
called me and said, Tokwe, you have this knowledge, this talent. Why didn't you go and study something like this? And yours truly, when I applied for admission, it was as if they were waiting for me.
Wonderful. I like that. That's
It
quite
was
a
as
lovely
if
story.
they were waiting for me. So when I got there, from my first year, people knew I was going to do sculpture. Because the way they saw it, we were more than 100 in the class. But I was the class captain, and I was very, very much involved in sculpture. So, but my first assignment in school.
I like you, a good storyteller. You know, we sit down and make it say, just stories, but wonderful story. But let's just see a few of your works because we're running out of time.
Okay.
We'll just see a few of your works and talk about this. What is this work titled?
This is a white feather chief. A white feather chief from the Igbo land.
I love it against the white background.
Okay.
That is something. This is you in. This is your workplace.
Yes.
This is your workbench.
Yes, yes.
Sculpting is not easy, man. You need, people talk about the hands of a sculptor, that the hands have been hardened through, because you have to deal with fire, quite a lot of things, putting things together.
Is not like that.
Interesting.
It depends on how you manage yourself.
Okay.
Manage your hands. Manage your materials. So my hand, if you touch my hand, it's not like that.
How do
People
you
often say
do
so.
it? People often say so. So how
Yes,
do you?
but I don't know. Maybe my own is natural. I can't. But
Yeah.
mine is not like that. And I've
Alright.
seen some people that theirs are not,
Not the same.
like
Also.
that.
Let's talk about this piece here. This
Okay.
one, the second one here. What's the title?
This is a sagging.
Sagging.
Yes.
What
it's
do you mean by
titled
that?
Sagging. If you check, this is a maquet of a work, of a wooden work.
Okay.
That's a carving. So if I have to make a carving, I need to make a maquet, a maquette
First.
for it.
First
So
before
yes.
you-
So
Oh,
it will
okay.
be a guideline for me while doing the carving. So it's titled Sagging. And this is it. If you check the breast, the clothes the woman is putting on is sagging. The breast is almost out. Even the skirts.
Wow.
So it's
Tokwe, you
talk
have
about,
a wonderful imagination, but this is quite a wonderful masterpiece. Tokwe, thank you so much for
Yes,
coming.
sir.
I wish we had more time. We'd spend and talk about this, but keep it up. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Tokwe.
Thank you
Wonderful.
very
Hope you're able to pick up something there. We'll take a time out. Stay with us. We'll be back in a bit.
Thank you.
And we are back. Yes, welcome back, guys. Welcome to the kitchen. This is Chef Rachel, and this morning she's making for us beans porridge. How do you make your beans? Let us know, guys. We would like to know. Do not forget to use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC when you're sending in those videos, pictures, or basically just letting us know how you make your beans. And this morning, Chef Rachel has, well, I don't know if you make your beans the way she makes hers, but well, she'll take you through and she'll explain and show us how she makes her own beans. It's a special kind of way. I think you'd enjoy this. Maybe better, I don't know. It depends on you on how you like your beans. But, okay, let's talk about the ingredients and then just let us in on
Okay.
the process.
Okay, so we have our palm oil, we have our pepper, crayfish, onions, seasoning powder, salt, and of course the star.
Aha.
protein.
Yes. Now let's talk about the star ingredients here, which are the proteins, because we have gizzard, cow meat, and
Fish.
banla. Yes. There's a certain kind of flavor banla actually gives to your beans if you use it generously, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you allow that fish to soak into the palm oil when you're frying it.
Yeah.
Brothers
It has
and
a
sisters
special
of the
taste.
Lord, you need to try it out to find out for yourself. But anyways, please, let's get cooking.
Okay, so Palm oil goes in. So cold. Why?
Yeah, the oil has congealed.
It's cold.
Okay. You use a lot of oil though for your beans.
Well,
So much oil that when you pour it into the plates, you see the oil, just
Swimming
stream
around.
from the side. Ooh, nice.
okay, so let this heat up a bit.
A bit, okay,
Yeah.
okay. And so now let's talk about the beans for a minute. What's in the beans? Did you add anything to it?
Okay, so while the beans was pre-cooked, I used onion.
A generous amount of onions.
Oh my
Right?
goodness.
Because the onions, usually, and also, I hear that if you want to get your beans to cook quickly, just add onions.
Well, I don't know that. For me, it's the aroma.
Yeah, I know the aroma.
I haven't really done that science yet.
Oh, okay. Maybe you try it. Try it. So if you want your beans to cook, not everyone can afford honey beans.
Oh.
Some people would just rather do the other kind of beans. And
Okay.
those other beans, there's this particular species that it can
Forever.
take 1 year. I'm exaggerating, though, but it takes so long.
Yes.
So just put in your onions and it cooks faster. And, let's not also forget that onions are very healthy as well. And they play like different roles, guys. You can't, don't play on your onions. Yeah, I know sometimes it can be very expensive, but all right. Okay, so you added onions. What else? Anything else?
Yeah, so when the beans was a bit soft, I just had to add my salt to it.
Okay.
Yeah, salt to taste.
Okay. But the beans, are they cooked already? Are they soft?
Yeah, they're soft.
already.
Yeah,
Okay.
like really soft.
Now let's talk about our oil. Our palm oil is ready. So what's going in quickly?
So let's put in this so it can.
Oh, that's going in first?
Yes.
Okay. When does the onion go in?
After this.
Okay. You
Yes.
need help?
Nah, I'll be fine.
Nice. Okay. Does the onion go in next, or what goes in next?
Just stay a bit.
Okay.
Then we can add our oil, onion next.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like making a sauce.
Yes.
pepper sauce.
Of course.
Uh-huh.
For the
Okay,
beans.
so in a minute, all of the other ingredients, onions, pepper, crayfish, salt, and seasoning, goes into the pepper mix, and then we pour it into the beans when it's ready. Just giving you like a summary of what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Or we head over to the couch for another conversation.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Amazing work there, MM. And right now, we have a very interesting interview right now. And I have with me Professor Turks Onabanjo. Now, he is the chairman of the Pan-African American Chamber of Commerce. And they're bringing to us the Trade Investment Conference Summit. And the theme is literally Hope for Africa Trade Investment Summit. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us, and welcome to Wake Up Nigeria.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
So earlier we were having conversations about the reason you're here talking to us this morning, and you actually did mention how you're literally a part of the house. Can you actually share more light on that? And
Yes, I was the director of community services
yeah.
during the president's term as governor.
Okay.
of the state, and we made the global competition happen, and I was the first to put 50,000 people on the payroll. And we were able to skip off all these ghost workers. We also have Oracle installation. It's running now.
Yes.
I'm proud of my legacy, and that's what made Lagos tick and what made Lagos to be financially buoyant.
Yes,
So innovation is always key. And I also believe that Nigeria is going to rule the world.
yes, you said
If
so.
we can start teaching AI in schools,
Yes.
from primary school to university. It doesn't matter whether you have the resources. You have the best doctors in the world, but we didn't have the best equipment.
Very true.
But as soon as they get to the environment where they are all
Yes,
these-
they
they go
excel.
there.
Very
so I
true.
believe that Nigeria should start having a AI commission, and that's one of the theme of the conference. Hope for Africa.
Hope for Africa.
Yes.
Okay, we're actually getting into that now, but I do then mention that you're a professional when it comes to project management. Literally, you've managed projects of over millions of dollars and all of that. So you're also an educator and an expert when it comes to information technology as well, AI, as we're talking about AI. So now tell me about the Hope for Africa Summits.
Okay, the Hope for Africa Summit has two aspects. It's that we're going to partner with people in US, with Asia, to bring the best to Africa, because Africa has the best resources in the world. You know?
Very true.
And so we have very young population, In another 25 years' time, one in every human being that lives on Earth is going to be an
Going to be an African, yeah.
Africa is going to be over 2.5 billion people.
Wow.
So we're going to have a massive economy. So we need to start now to dig in and prepare for that 25 years.
Very
If you want to train a doctor, you need about 10 to 15 years to start preparing ahead. That's why we're here. We want to have Africa to partner the world because we can't do it alone.
Very true.
And then we want to make sure that all the potential we have there, the youth, we also going to involve the youth so they can come over. We have people from Ghana, from Syria, all over Africa.
All over Africa.
The president of South Africa may also be is one of the keynote speakers.
Okay.
We're also talking to our president to be keynote. It's going to be a big thing.
So where is it happening?
In Atlanta, Georgia.
It's happening in Atlanta, Georgia. And what date?
It's going from September 9 to 13.
Okay.
So it's going to be a great thing. We have Africa has the best hope in the world.
Very true.
Because we have everything.
We have everything.
Even we have the sun.
Yes.
Let me tell you, as time goes on, like just the James Webb Telescope is in solar. Solar is getting perfect. That Africa will have power all over the place. In fact, there's some time we train about 238 people, youth here in Lagos, from Lagos State, on the, solar farming.
Yes.
All right. There's a difference between you being a solar installer and a solar expert. For instance, if I come to your house, I say, hey, I want to come and eat rice. You can cook for me.
Yes.
But if I say, oh, the president has a big event in Abuja, and that we want to cook rice for 50,000 people, and I ask you how many bags of rice, how many bags of salt are you going to use?
Yes.
If you're not a chef,
yes, you probably will know.
So
we're
teaching them to be chef in solar.
In solar.
So we're going to do the same thing again this year. We are talking to the employment, employment creation people, so you can train more people, because the more people who have this skill, the better.
Yes,
so one of the things we are doing about the conference is to bring the best of Africa to US and to get the best of US also to Nigeria, and for all to start preparing. It shouldn't be the Chinese alone. So we should get everything from A. We get the best from A, we get the best from B, and we make Africa great.
Yes.
And then everything going on fine, Nigeria should be the 5th largest economy probably plus or minus 30 years time.
30 years
the
time.
Largest economy.
The largest economy.
And if you play well with AI, you can teach AI from primary school to university. Will be the second.
The second. Amazing. Okay, that actually is a lot of information to take in. But then again, I know a lot of people will ask, probably, so let's just zoom in on the fact that, okay, now we're talking about hope for Africa, but we're having the conference in Atlanta. Yes. So a lot of people want to understand that. They want to reconcile that. So why? What is the reason? Okay.
The reason being that if you are living in Djibouti, right, and you have resources, you want to bring them to Lagos.
Yes.
This time you can have the synergy, and you can get the money again. For instance, if I invest in Lekki, I invest in VI, I have a place there. I can use that money to build a big place in Djibouti. Right, because resources tends to flow,
circulate,
to areas where they're well valued. Just like I migrated to US because I went there as an alien of extra ability because I have resources, I have things to give to them.
To give to them,
then the diaspora remittance to Nigeria, let me give it to you, in another 5 years, it will go more than $50 billion.
Wow.
And we need that kind of money to build Nigeria.
To be
for instance, if we have tasty fresh chicken, everything in US, we're able to move more money from US here. And we still have tasty here too. So we can franchise tasty all over the world. So we need to be able to tap into the resources of the world. That's why US and other countries who have the resources take their money to develop
ourselves right here. So now let's talk about estimates. Now we're talking about years. So you said for AI, we actually take it seriously and teach AI from like primary school up in 30 years. So now when you talk about this hope that we should have in Africa, now let's talk about it logically, considering where Nigeria is right now. How many years, give or take, and at what speed will we move, and in how many years will we get to the point where the economy will literally be something to talk about?
First of all, we have a very insightful president that wants to make Nigeria, want to turn Nigeria to a trillion economy. So what is have the zeal to do it?
Zeal, yes.
If you look at Lagos State, if we didn't have the competition, the global competition in Lagos State, Lagos State, we cannot have the task basket it has now. It's poorer. So IT, information technology, and this AI is about knowledge. We have what they call narrow artificial intelligence, like your Alexa. You say, play for me Okoso.
Yes.
The person is dead. It will play for you.
It will play,
Okay,
true.
now it's only do something specific. We have general, artificial general intelligence. The one that drives cars, drives planes, right? They are general. They just go. But we are going further to artificial super intelligence.
Okay.
That is machine learning. It will
Machine
learn
learning.
and do things better than human beings.
Very
So we need to tap into it. And to teach it is very simple. Because it's about the mind.
About the
Because-
mind.
And Nigerians are very good with
things like that.
Programming, kind of.
Yes,
And what
yes.
AI does, because it's able to span through a lot of data in 1 second. For instance, we have it in the banks. The banks say if somebody defrauded you, you use your PIN. If you have AI system listening, you would have seen that the fellow did it once or
Did
twice.
it, well, yes,
you will not
prior
shut it
to
down.
that time. Very
But
true.
human being will
Very
not
true.
do it
Will not do
because
that
you have a lot of
efficiently.
data to complete.
Very
So
true.
we need to bring hope back to Africa.
Amazing. Thank you so much, sir. And definitely looking forward to the conference, though I may not be in attendance.
We can sponsor you, really.
Okay, we'll talk about that after this interview. But thank you so much, sir, for being here. I
Thank
wish
you
you all
so
the
much.
best for what you're doing. I think it's amazing, and I would totally love to tap into all of that space, AI especially.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you so much for staying with us. You've literally heard it. We definitely need to keep on having hope for Africa. But right now, it is the top of the hour. Let's have hope for the next hour. We'll be back.
If you had gotten a few seconds earlier, you'd have heard Winfrey screaming. That's something caught her hand. What caught her hand?
I don't know. See, he's bleeding. People has address in this place.
I'd have thought I would see something serious. There's nothing there. It's probably the ring that you're wearing.
No, it's
Yes.
not. No, it's not.
Well, welcome to the second lap of Wake Up Nigeria on this wonderful Thursday morning. It's the 25th
Yeah.
of April. If you're just joining us, you've missed 1 hour already.
You have missed an entire hour of greatness. But then again, we have 45 minutes still to go just for you. So make sure you sit tight and do not blink. Yes, I mean that very literally.
I have not blinked since Chef Rachel got into the kitchen because what she's doing there, Chef Rachel, I'm going to get Ijebu Gari. Once this thing, I'm just going to get it and come back because that thing you are putting together, mine cannot compare. Talk to us. I mean, how's it going there, ma'am? Chef Rachel, what's up?
Oh, well, Chef Rachel,
Yeah.
want to update us?
Oh yeah, it's going well. Trying to make sure that all this goodness goes into the beans.
Yeah, so right now we're stir frying our proteins, onions, and all the seasonings have gone in. I think it's just the crayfish left, right?
Yes.
And in a minute, everything's going right into the pots. And yes, breakfast is going to be served in a bit. But guys, I'd like to know, how do you like your beans? Do you like it watery? Do you like it just like in grains, or you like it really mashed? And how do you enjoy your beans? With plantains, fried plantains, boiled plantains?
Auntie, you're asking, the question you have asked has passed the answer.
I love my beans with lots of vegetables, with spring onions, with carrots, with green peppers, with all of that.
Okay. Me, I love my beans the way
With
Chef Rachel is
Scoopia.
cooking it now. Chef Rachel, I'm cooking now.
Okay.
In charge of that beans,
Okay.
yeah? But hey, come on, we're looking forward to all of that. My name is Mike Mesikero.
My name is Winfrey Agbaleshe. Now remember to keep watching us exactly where you're watching us now. Just keep on doing that. And then share to
Definitely.
other people, right?
Definitely.
And remember to join us on social media.
Exactly, TVC Entertainment _ across all social media platforms. We'll kick off the second lap with birthday. For our book chat this morning, we have Nnamdi Chieku. He's an entrepreneur and founder of Namdex Group Africa. He's a frequent contributor to discussion panels and publications across African politics, economies, and global geopolitics, and of course commerce. He's here to talk about his best-selling book, Africa on the Precipice, the blueprint to stir the continent and diaspora to redemption. And that's quite the title, right?
Yes, it is. And finally, finally, we have a guest. Now, he is known as Black Rasta. Now, born in Tamale, northern Ghana, West Africa, as a growing youth in the slums of Moshizongo and Ababo. Black Rasta definitely underwent a lot of injustice, racism, and other social ills. Now, education was #1 on Black Rasta's mind since his parents were both educationists. He definitely creates an ideology that we will be talking about today alongside other things.
Winfrey, you want to continue with our profile?
Please.
Please have more.
Our guests are very sophisticated.
Oh,
and we need to
definitely.
let them know every detail there is to know.
The detail I've not finished. Continue the detailing. All right, well, let's take a look at what the weather will be like. There's quite a lot more to come on the show.
Yes.
That animation there is just giving me Wakanda vibes. When I went through this book, saw this, and I skimmed through, I didn't get to read it because what we're doing today is a reference material. It gave me that thing that, yes, we can be where we want to be. Now, for our book chat this morning, Nnamdi Chieku, an entrepreneur and the founder of Namdex Group. He is a frequent contributor to discussion panels, a lot on commerce, geopolitics, and all over around the world. He's here with this masterpiece, Africa on the Precipice, the blueprints to steer the continent and diaspora to redemption. It's great to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I love that this addresses not just Africa in Africa, Africans in Africa,
Yes.
but also the diaspora. Looking at the entity, the person inside.
Yeah.
What necessitated this book?
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. If we take a look at Africa today, I don't think any of us can be pleased in terms of what we see. And I mean this in reference to some of the economic dislocation that we're seeing, the civil wars and the general unrest. And this version of Africa isn't the Africa that we, the millennials, thought we would inherit, right? And so I wanted to provide an explanation. How did we get here? And look at it historically, look at it from an economic standpoint, and also from a cultural standpoint. And it's important that we do that because one theme that is quite strong over the last few centuries and certainly the last few decades is that if we have had one deficit as far as African governments and leaders are concerned, is that we haven't been paying attention to geopolitical events. Therefore, we have been victims to them. And I am seeing indications of that again in this early part of the century. But it could have fatal consequences.
Wonderful. I like this. Chapter 1 says we were great.
Yeah.
Then we were naive.
Yeah.
Now we are confused.
Yes.
Let's go through chapter 1.
Right.
What is it you're trying to pass
Yeah.
across here? in
No,
this?
so unfortunately, there's this misconception that we haven't been great at some point. And we were. Africa was successfully producing wonderful empires and kingdoms right until the 15th century, right? And this is from East Africa to Southern Africa, all the way to West Africa. And these kingdoms and empires were relevant not only in the African context, but internationally. So I asked myself, at what point did we begin to go left? Because it's not, when we talk about Africa today, it seems the conversations around, well, why can't we get it right? And that's not the case. We did get it right for a number of centuries, right? Now, where we began to go left is when we began to a certain degree, lose our culture, and then also how we reacted to new systems and new people that we were effectively encountering. And what I mean by that is, for instance, how we interacted with capitalism, how we interacted with globalization, and so on. And so strategic mistakes that we've made and continue to make is what leads to the Africa that we see today.
All right, so let's take a look at, there's the other chapter that really gets to me is chapter 4. The more you look, the less you see
Yeah.
why Africa is still not working.
Yeah. So it really took a lot of courage to write that specific chapter because when I started asking the question, why are we still going in this direction, in a direction that has not yielded the benefits that we would like to see for the continent, I had to prioritize only two things, which is Africa and the truth. And so that chapter, I think, is very important because when you read about Africa, you rarely get the holistic truth in terms of the socio-economic issues that we face, in terms of the historical issues that we face. So I attacked those issues head on and wanted to tell the people the truth,
The story.
unvarnished truth.
Wonderful. And this is why I would say, even before finishing it, it's reference material. It's something I should see in libraries, in schools. I mean, this is something that you should study because now one read is not enough.
Yeah.
Now, the chapter 7 says Africa's blueprint for redemption,
Yeah.
painful trade-offs and bold ideas.
Yes.
This is where we get to the climax. This is it.
Yeah.
What is the idea you're trying to push in chapter 7?
No, absolutely. So what I wanted to provide in chapter 7 was a comprehensive plan. Because oftentimes we get into a situation with African affairs and issues where a lot of people talk about the issues, but nobody has come and said, this should be our objective, this should be our strategy, these are the tactics, these are the incentive structures to make the strategy happen, and then this is the implementation mechanism. So these are the 5 elements that are so important in order to drive change. And I wanted to answer that in that chapter. And really the nexus of that chapter is to say, hey, we need to transform our socioeconomic environment in sub-Saharan Africa by 2030. And this is the way we're going to do it, is to finally come under one umbrella, which is this Africa Defense and Advancement Federation.
Exactly, that's what I wanted to ask. The ADF,
Yeah.
what is the ADF all about?
Yeah, ADAF. So
ADAF.
ADAF is a supranational entity that we are proposing, effectively that 4 powers should be aggregated to the ADAF level. And these 4 powers are monetary policy and fiscal policy, government oversight, continental security, and international diplomacy. And the reason why we're saying that is that Africa continues to go through this cycle because there is macroeconomic risk that persists. But if we aggregate these 4 powers that I just talked about to a neutral, objective, principle-based, fact-based entity that is not politicized, that can't be abused by African governments, then presidents and administrations can focus fully on the structural reforms that are necessary to move African countries forward. So ADAF is no longer, or this concept of Pan-Africanism is no longer a choice for us in this century in order to survive. It's a necessity. It's a condition for survival. Absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful. I once saw, there's a video you also shared earlier where people spoke about how Africa as a continent, it seems like we find it hard to rule ourselves. And so we find out that some of the most advanced Africans are those maybe who the colonizers stayed a bit longer at some point, and you can see some things working. How do we get to that point where we can actually say that, yeah, we can handle our resources without greed, without trying to embezzle all for somebody? How can we get to that point where people cannot say, where we can say that we can govern ourselves? Because that's what the West seems to think is one of the major issues with us here.
Well, we don't have to look too far. One of the driving ideology that I propose in this book, that I introduce in this book, is this concept of Afro-hegemonism. And Afro-hegemonism essentially says that we need to look back to authentic African socio-economic models and leadership in order to drive forward. Part of the issue that we've had is there was a lot of socio-economic models, political models that were working for us. But because we kind of lost our war of conquest with foreign invaders and so on, we let a lot of those things go. So what I am asserting, and the message in this book, is that we need to go back to that. If we are going to get to an Africa that is not only surviving or thriving, but dominant.
I like that word, dominant.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, ultimately, we are in a game of civilizations, regardless of what anybody says. And in the game of civilizations, there is no medal for second place. You're either winning or losing. Our objective in the 21st century is to win. And win means that we have socioeconomic and political territorial control in Africa, but also exert that dominance beyond our shores. Because it's important. We live in a world today where, quite frankly, the Western and Eastern world no longer have credibility to dictate affairs on this planet, as far as I'm concerned. Their rationales and their kind of ways of managing geopolitics has proven disastrous. This is what we're seeing. So it is incumbent upon us as Africans, not only for our own preservation, but also for the preservation of this planet, that we introduce our wisdom.
Definitely. Thank you so much. If I had an hour with you, it will not be enough. Thank you so much for this
Thank you so
masterpiece. And of course, it's going to be available. You have your social media handles. They can get it from everywhere.
No, absolutely. It's available on all platforms, in ebook and print and
all
so
of that.
on. Yeah.
Okay, while you have a seat there, we have a performance to round this up. That was quite an insightful discussion. We definitely get it on social media.
Our final guest on the couch with us is Black Rasta. Born in Tamale, northern Ghana, West Africa, as a growing youth in the slums of Moche, Zongo, and Abuabo, Black Rasta, born Abubakar Hamed, underwent a lot of injustice, favoritism, and other social ills. And education was, of course, one of the things that he had to go through. But he's right here to share his music journey with us, and all the way from Ghana. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to Wake Up Nigeria. I
Thank
like
you
your
so
get-up. It's very
Thank you.
African.
Thank you.
So I'm assuming that's also a part of the message you're pushing with your
Yes,
music as
exactly
well.
that. Exactly that. Yes, I wear this, to promote our own fabrics.
Okay.
I don't believe in wearing anything that is not made in Africa.
Okay.
Except that I can't do anything about it.
Okay.
Yes.
So you must have a lot of African,
Yes, in fact,
African
this is all I
designs
wear.
then.
I've been wearing these for the past 30 years.
Oh,
See.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about you being in Nigeria. I know that you're here to promote your latest project. Talk to us about it.
Well, my latest project is called Salaga Soldier.
Okay.
Salaga is S-A-L-A-G-A. Soldier is S-O-L-J-A-H, like the soul of the Most High Jah, you know.
Okay.
And these days, nobody makes albums. They are all doing singles and they are doing LPs. But I'm a man of ancient times in the present world and looking into the future.
Okay.
So I basically would like to relive the positive life of making people enjoy their money's worth. So I have an album that is a 20-track album, crunchingly hot. It's recorded live. And when you listen to the album, you would realize that a lot of work has gone into it. We've done 5 years of hard work, and the melodies are crisp. In fact, when you listen to the album, you realize that, yes, apart from the melodies, we also have messages that are contemporary, messages that the world need right now. So this is what the album is all about. And I have been able to come out with a certain sound, which I call Kuchoko. It's reggae. But
Is that Ghanaian?
well, it's African.
African, okay.
Yes, I mean, reggae music used to be called strenge. You know, in the, early 60s, thereabout. It used to be called strenge because of the sound they were hearing. Strenge, strenge, strenge. In Jamaica, they called it strenge till it came all the way into reggae. In Nigeria, when people play reggae music, Nigerians hear nyeke, 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 nyeke.
Very true. Yeah,
Nyeke.
very true.
I hear kuchoko, kuchoko,
Okay,
kuchoko,
okay.
kuchoko, kuchoko.
Okay.
See, that is what I basically hear.
Okay.
I hear kuchoko, 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 kuchoko. And if it's a one-drop reggae, of course, the kick comes in kuchoko, kuchoko, bam, kuchoko, kuchoko, bam, kuchoko, kuchoko. So basically, I decided to call my kind of sound kuchoko.
Kuchoko,
Saying, and it's a fusion of Jamaican reggae music with the African sound. There could be some Afrobeat in it. You now hear African instruments in the kind of reggae I make. So this album is that kind of album.
Amazing. I was hearing you or listening to you speak about your music alone is really interesting. It literally makes me want to go and listen to it, like straight up. So now I wanted to ask, what's the meaning of Salaga?
Salaga, yes.
Salaga.
Well, Salaga is a small town in Ghana which was known for slavery. So they had a slave market in there. Up till this date, when you go there, you still see slave pegs and chains around the place. Now, so many ignorant people who think that Africans only sold each other into slavery will never see the other side where Africans fought slavery. People like Babatu, people like Samori Toure, and all those people. Even in Nigeria, Dahomey and all those places, we had powerful people who fought against slavery. See? So this album is a certain kind of of dedication to those people who fought against selling human beings into slavery. So it's called Salaga Soldier, and the soldier is spelled like the soul of Jah, because we are all souls. So that is what the album is talking about. It's a radical album. It kickstarts with what is called Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, Sodom and Gomorrah. I had the privilege of going to the area that in the days was called Sodom and Gomorrah, around Israel all the way into Iraq and Syria area there, and I saw things for myself firsthand. So I decided that I would make an album called The Salaga Soldier, and then the opening track would be Sodom and Gomorrah, and it's talking about present times. That song goes like, let the fire come, fire, 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 let Jah fire come, and Sodom and Gomorrah.
Nice.
Let the fire come, fire, 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 let Jah fire come, and Sodom and Gomorrah. Verse 1. Bring down the fire, Jehovah. We need the fire, oh Jah. Burn down the system, burn down the state, punish the leader them. So many church yet sinner increase, Roman father in a pedophilia. We no have no love now, is man to man. Too much wickedness.
Nice, well done. Wow, 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 wow. Beautiful, beautiful. We can tell that there's a lot of message in this album. But quickly, let's touch on the evolution of the reggae music industry in Africa and even all over the world.
For real.
We know Raskimono to be Bob Marley, you know, they were the pioneers of reggae music, you know, in all over the world. And here you are still championing, being consistent. Now let's look at your music and the other music genres and the sort of music they're putting out there.
Right.
There's little or no message in it, but compared to, you know, the reggae music, there's always some level of intentionality with the kind of music that you put out there. So let's quickly talk about the evolution and your thoughts on these other music genres and what you think needs to change in that regard.
Well, it depends on who goes into the studio. There are people who go into the studio to make hits. There are those who go to follow the trends. I go into the studio only when I have the inspiration. It means there must be a message. Saying, I love melodies and I also love rhythm. But these are not my priorities. I love to have the message out, carried on a good melody and a good rhythm, so that people can appreciate the rhythm, the melody, and then they are injected with the message. But these days, it looks like it's more of the trends. What's the sound that is trending now? Okay, this is the sound. With this thing, Amapiano injected into it, and you can just spit. They call their singing spitting. They spit anything on it. And if somebody spits onto you, you know what the person is producing. So we reggae artists don't spit. In fact, we represent the Most High on earth. So to say that we spit music is an insult to the glory of the Most High.
Wow.
So we make music and we are able to replicate the power of the Most High. That is what we do. So I go into the studio, make the music, and before my music comes out, I make sure that a number of people have listened to the thing, and then they are able to say that, okay, this and that and that. It might not be everything we will take, but at the end of the day, we have something solid that comes out. It's one other reason I don't do cold music. Cold music is computerized music, imitated sounds, metallic sounds. I like the authenticity of the sounds of our indigenous instruments. So I go into the studio and I get the best of technology to be able to give me the best of the sound. That is what it is. But I think that it's about time a lot of us moved away from just the trends. We would like to hear our history. We would like to hear some education in our music. These are the songs that stand the test of time.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, then you are making fast food music. Andrew liver salt music.
Speaking
You
of
know
fast
what? Fast
food,
food,
we actually
yeah.
have food for you in the kitchen right about now. Love the fact that your music literally comes from the soul. We can actually
Yeah.
tell by the way you live your life. Now, if you'd
Yeah.
like to join us for breakfast, I hope you're not fasting.
Yeah, for
Okay.
real, for real.
Let's
Please.
go
Thank you.
into the kitchen. I love it, love it, love it.
Well done, Black Rasta. This is welcome to the kitchen.
Thank you so much.
This is Chef Rachel.
Chef
Yes.
Rachel.
And this morning she's made for you beans porridge. You like beans?
I do. So
What's your favorite Nigerian food?
Unfortunately, I may have to disappoint you. In fact, I'm vegan. 100% vegan. I don't
was
eat
gonna
fish,
ask.
I don't eat
Yeah,
meat.
okay.
I was gonna
I don't
literally
drink
say
milk, I
that.
don't eat butter, I don't eat cheese, I don't
Okay.
eat margarine.
So I
Okay, what
guess we
happens?
wouldn't be asking you which is better, jollof, Ghana jollof or Nigerian jollof. We'll just leave that. But
You just take a look at it.
I
and
just take a look
let
at
us know.
this and feed your eyes since you can't eat it.
So you
Yeah.
can have some water. It's part of
Yes,
breakfast
yes,
as well.
part of breakfast. Yes. Thank you so much.
How long have you been vegan though?
About 30 years.
Whoa.
30 solid years.
That's quite something. That's
Yeah,
quite something.
amazing.
All right. But keep on doing what
Amazing.
you're doing. We
Yeah.
love what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Keep up the movement.
Blessed.
Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Good boy in that area.
Please, what does Rastafari mean?
Rastafari is, Ras means the herd, you know, or the leader. The Farai is the name of Haile Selassie, so Rastafari, King Haile
Haile
Selassie.
Selassie.
Amazing. Well done.
Okay, on that note, we'll have to go now. Thank you so much, Black Rasta, and to all our guests for being on the show today. And for you at home watching, we appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great day ahead.
Bye.
Bye.